Hi, this is Keith from virtualizedgeek.com with another episode of Virtualized Geek's Tech Talk. This is specifically our VMware 2014 recap. So I got out of VMware 2014 three major announcements. The first, VMware Rail and Rack, so their Evo solution, their platform. We'll get into detail around what that is in a second. Their relationship with Docker and Google when it comes to containers. That's the second major announcement. And the third for me is OpenStack. I was a little bit late. If you guys go back and look at TechTalk 22, I talked about vOpenStack. That was a little bit over a year ago. I expected that announcement in VMware 2013. VMware obviously didn't feel as passionate about supporting OpenStack as I felt like they should have been back in 2013. They waited until this year to come out with that solution, and we'll get into that in this episode of our Tech Talk. So the first, VMware's HyperConverged plane, Evo, EVO Rail and Evo Rack. Evo Rail is their first solution aimed at the SMB or small business, which scales up to about 100 VMs. If you're not familiar about HyperConverged, I suggest that you Google HyperConverged in my name. I had a pretty good long-form post over on Tech Republic introducing the concept of hyperconvergence. Hyperconvergence is basically big market, a lot of potential there. Obviously, VMware, Cisco, and EMC teamed together to perform VCE, which goes after the converged market with their larger products. Evo Rail, a little bit less ambitious. It's aimed at workloads or specifically markets that go up to that 100 VM count. If you're familiar with the hyperconverged model at all, this kind of takes aim at the scale computing their hyperconverged play. Basics around it, built off of VMware products, vSAN, log insight management, obviously vSphere, and a couple other VMware products. A heavy software overlay that allows provisioning of new appliances extremely simple. Basically, you rack and stack the first four appliances, connect them to the network, power them up, and then a wizard walks you through setting up a new vSphere cluster in about 15 minutes. Obviously, the storage is based off of local storage. It takes the whole vSAN paradigm and expands it out to a full hyper-converged infrastructure solution. You basically have to bring your own networking. The second announcement is around Docker. So there's been a lot of excitement over Docker containers. For those of you who are not familiar with Docker containers, it's exactly what it containers in the more traditional sense. You take instead of taking full VMs, you take slices of a operating system, package your Linux application within that container, and now you can take that container and deploy it generically across any Linux distro that's running on top of Docker. Makes application deployment across multiple clouds very simple. VMware has been kind of, the tech media has kind of been eating at VMware heels, thinking that Docker will eat into VMware's traditional business. VMware's take, at least on stage from VMworld, was that Docker and Google containers are a complement to any vSphere deployment. By teaming with Docker and Google, VMware hopes to stem some of that kind of momentum, or ride the momentum and have these containers running within VM, and then VMware offering additional value add by actually managing the containers. So this was a big theme of VMworld 2014, kind of VMware or specifically around containers without limits. So the same kind of approach was around the announcement around OpenStack. If you want a OpenStack distribution and you have a large investment in VMware vSphere, VMware introduced their OpenStack appliance. This is not the appliance that I showed you guys how to install on the VA, I believe it was called. This is a brand new appliance that scales out and designed to give you a OpenStack experience that's very similar to your experience when deploying VMware vSphere. So, you know, we've made fun with with OpenStack, saying that OpenStack is hard. VMware aims to make OpenStack easy by being able to put it into a traditional OVA appliance, deploy that on your infrastructure, and have a fully supported OpenStack distribution by VMware on your VMware infrastructure. The one caveat with this is, of course, that it is a VMware specific distribution. It hasn't been released yet. I believe the beta was either announced or soon to be announced. I'm kind of in a wait and see mode. I'm not sure how well they're going to do with that distribution. It all depends on how well executed it is. However, I want to take this time to say I told you so. I'm a year late, or rather VMware's a year late, or I was a year early, however you want to look at it. Go back, look at episode 22 of our Tech Talks, and you'll see that I kind of called what I call vOpenStack a year ago. You know what, I was a year early. The market, I guess, just wasn't ready for it. So those are the three major announcements that I cared about at VMware. There was some stuff around running vCloud Automation Center, or VCAC, or VCO. I'm not sure what it's named today, but the vCloud Air, having that management platform run in the cloud. I'm sure I'll do a little bit more research and post something on that in the near future. But that's the three major points that I got at VMworld. Visit the blog. I wrote up I think a point on each one. virtualizedgeek.com. Like the YouTube videos, even you trolls, like the video. We'll talk to you guys next episode of Virtualized Geeks Tech Talks. Thanks.